An airline allows the women to buy seats far away from the men. A man was arrested for assaulting a Prius. And a Chinese live stream platform is dealing with some sexual harassment. These are the weird stories for Wednesday on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast in the universe. An airline now allows women to avoid sitting next to the men. India's biggest budget airline, it's called Indigo, has been trialing a booking feature that will allow the ladies to avoid booking any seats next to men on flights. That's cool. Now do that for the babies, please. This feature is the first of its kind for any airline, and it works by showing the female travelers a pink seat at the seat selection page if it will be occupied by a female passenger. So they can see that and choose to sit next to a pink seat rather than the other seats, which are male travelers. And I'm a man, and I got to be honest, I prefer not to sit next to another man either. They spread, man. Man spreading. They spread out, especially the big guys. They put the elbows on both of the armrests. You got to take up both of my armrests, dude. Sometimes I wish I could just be rich enough to buy all the 3 seats, just have them all to myself. You know, life goals, guys, life goals. Says here, travelers on Indigo must identify their genders when they purchase tickets, which allows the airlines to control access to these details. The females, when purchasing tickets, are allowed to see where the genders happen to be on a flight map. The males cannot. All right. I support that, though, because it's India. I don't know if you guys know anything about India, but a little bit of a harassment situation going on in India. The men tend to be a little gropey. I personally have heard some anecdotes from close friends, females that have visited there, and they were quite alarmed at the amount of groping going on. Imagine a country filled with Donald Trumps. I mean, just imagine that, guys. Hey, are you picking on Donnie? Hey, I'll pick on Joe, too. You want me to pick on Joe? Guy spends about 2/3 of his day with his mouth wide open catching bugs, that guy. It's just the old man properties. That's how it is. Now, if you don't know, India is very male-dominated, arranged marriages. There's a massive sex trafficking going on there. And it's quite common in India for there to be women-only cars and trains and women-only sections on buses as well because of the situation. So this is just an airline in India that's following suit with the other transportation protocol. And India isn't the only country with such things. Japan has female-only cars on their subways as well. So I say all that to say don't pass judgment on this airline until you know the whole entire situation within context is very, very important. Now we have an Indigo representative saying that this new feature is designed to make flying more comfortable for their female passengers. Many social media users have made some comments saying that this is such good news after having bad experiences when traveling alone. Many women are glad this is available, citing personal experiences of being touched on flights. Others complain that male passengers sometimes sit with their legs wide apart, making female neighbors uncomfortable. Yeah, it makes me uncomfortable too, not just the females. However, some comments called the booking feature discriminatory and sexist. Of course. Some also asked how the airline would manage cases of men identifying as women. Well, that could be an issue. Not so much in India, but if you were to roll this out to other countries, you might experience quite a bit of that. And that's a nightmare situation. I don't know how you deal with that. The article goes on here to cite some anecdotes of Indian passengers, males specifically, being inappropriate on flights, someone being sexually assaulted while she was sleeping. Another Indian male national was sentenced to 4 months in jail for touching a 22-year-old flight attendant during a flight. There's even a case here with an Indian man urinating on a female passenger. That sounds a little crazy. Okay, yeah, might want to keep those guys away from you. To be honest with you, I'm not opposed to just passing out very small tasers just to protect yourself on flights these days. For a person that might want to touch you while you're sleeping, or even for someone that likes to stick their feet through the wedge so now their foot pokes out in front of you or on the side of you, and you just give their toe a little tase. Get back there. That'd be fun. I have a fantasy about a future way of flying where you can know a lot of personal information about the passengers and their tendencies, so then you can choose appropriately. So, then you could choose a seat away from babies, away from someone who just won't shut the hell up. Maybe it'll indicate whoever has smelly feet. Someone maybe has an emotional support squirrel. I don't want to sit next to somebody with an emotional support squirrel. I'm just overall a big supporter of using technology to help us avoid creeps, weirdos, people that smell, people that might murder us. I mean, that's helpful, don't you think? Now, I saw someone made a comment on this story saying, oh, this doesn't really fix the problem, just allowing women to sit elsewhere. Like, how about we fix the underlying problem and stop these men? Well, I mean, you could say that, but, that's like trying to move a battleship with an oar. These are centuries of male-dominated values going on in India. And those things just don't turn around overnight, man. It takes generations to swap out values like that, to add some more, inject some more femininity into the culture. That takes a long, long time. So this is just a quick fix. Let people feel comfortable. And, I'm for it. I don't know about you guys. What do you think of this? Call the show, 646-450-2012. Would you love the option, ladies, to choose a seat far, far away from the dudes? A man has been arrested after assaulting a Prius. Ooh, how exciting. I'm guessing it's not sexual assault because Priuses don't have tailpipes. Although I know some freaks like to get it on with the windshield wipers. They have a windshield wiper fetish. So let's keep reading and find out what sort of assault this was. You notice the theme here in this episode, guys? Inappropriate touching, it would seem. All right, this Prius assault story is out of Indiana. On Sunday, police arrested a man who was found punching a Toyota Prius while chasing it down the road. This guy was chasing it down the road? Well, that's not that hard to chase down a Prius, considering I think the top speed is 16 miles an hour. According to the police report, 42-year-old Marshall Guthrie. Marshall Guthrie! Ooh, boy! I'm going to guess there's some intoxication going on. Marshall Guthrie was taking some swings at a Toyota Prius while chasing it down CR 300 North. I'm guessing that's not a highway. This happened at 2 p.m. on Sunday. His whole weekend was ruined when a Prius drove by. Those damn Priuses! These woke cars! I hate these woke cars! What would have happened if he saw a Tesla? My goodness, I don't even want to know what Marshall Guthrie would have done to a Tesla. So, details. The county police received a call of a reckless driver. At that intersection, the police located a 2022 Dodge pickup truck in the ditch. Down the road, they found Guthrie, barefoot, attacking a Toyota. So I assume he got out of his Dodge pickup truck to attack this Toyota. He's just... What is he driving without his shoes? I don't know, guys. This is Indiana. Who knows? The driver of the Prius told the police that he had picked up Guthrie, who was walking along the roadway. Right, so Guthrie's walking barefoot along the roadway, and this Prius driver is just trying to be a good Samaritan, a good citizen. It's like, oh, this poor guy walking barefoot, no shoes. Let me see if I can give him a ride. Prius drivers are gentle with the universe. They like to help out. A Prius driver will pull over if they see, like, a wounded muskrat. They'll bring it to the local animal shelter. And Prius drivers love fundraisers, too, and they buy organic at the local farmer's market. You got to love Prius drivers. They're helping make the world a cleaner place, I think. But a lot of people can't stand Prius drivers. You got to feel bad for them, man. Look, they're forced to be seen in public driving a Prius. Life's hard for them as it is, man. Give them a break. Okay, so the Prius driver, back to the stories, says Guthrie suddenly reached into the center console. So he picked up Guthrie. Guthrie is the passenger now in his Prius. Guthrie suddenly reached into the center console and grabbed a package of fishing hooks, a tape measure, and a pair of glasses, then bailed out of the vehicle. Was the vehicle still in motion when he jumped out of the vehicle? Did this guy jump out of a moving vehicle without any shoes on? This guy's like a superhero. What is going on with Guthrie's brain here? Let's find out what sort of paraphernalia he's got on his person. Due to Guthrie's alleged erratic behavior, an officer tackled and subdued him. Okay, but back to what happened in the car, man. I need more details. He just jumped out with fish hooks? At what point was he punching the car? I guess the driver pulled over? Wow, so many questions here. So much to unpack. In Guthrie's own backpack, it said, officers found what they believed to be several hallucinogenic mushrooms. Oh, is this what's going on? Guthrie was trying to get on the phone to God this day. Instead, his whole journey towards enlightenment was ruined when he saw a woke vehicle drive by. Just a quick disclaimer, kids. Do your powerful entheogens in the comfort of your own living room, Jonesy suggests. Put on some Grateful Dead. Just sit back and enjoy the ride. Don't get out there in the traffic.
Let's rock.
Harassment concerns abound as skirts are lifted remotely during live streams. There's a new trend on China's social media platforms that apparently allows users to lift the skirts of young women during live streaming. And understandably, it's causing some widespread concern. I've never heard of any social media platform that allows you to lift the skirts of young women. I've seen young women voluntarily take off their clothing somewhat on certain platforms. I've never paid for that, though. You kidding me? I can't afford that. We have here, they're describing a scene, a simulated beach scene, sand on the floor, a virtual sea, palm trees in the background. Some barefoot women are hosting. They're wearing a skirt. One of them has tight trousers. The women are sitting on beach chairs and are surrounded by toy vehicles such as excavators. Now, the viewers apparently can download an app that allows them to remotely control the vehicles, the little construction vehicles. They appear to be toys, little robots. The users can remotely control them during the live stream. They can move them around the ladies. They can operate the arms. They can use the excavators to do a little digging in the sand. It's just, I assume, a way to get interaction going between the live streamers and their viewers, but something went awry because of creepy men, I'm assuming. Now, one of these social media accounts is called Xianshan Remote Control Center. They created this to showcase their new system, which allows people to enjoy the fun of remotely operating an excavator. I'm looking at a photo of what's going on. Yes, a woman seated in a lawn chair, and they look like little remote-controlled tractors and dump trucks and excavators all around her. I assume you'll be able to move them remotely through the app. However, they say some viewers move the excavators so they are touching the lady host's legs and stomachs. Some have even attempted to lift their skirts during the live stream. Of course. Just leave it up to creeps to ruin a good thing. These live streams can attract up to 3,000 viewers at a time, it says, so they're somewhat popular, I guess because of the interaction. Well, they're going to be very popular now after this headline. It says, despite being harassed by the viewers operating the excavators, some female hosts continue to interact, patiently correcting the, quote, naughty vehicles by repositioning them on the sand. Oh, these naughty vehicles. Just these poor girls have got to kick away little excavators that are trying to crawl up their thighs. This is so sad. I mean, I'm laughing, so I feel bad, but this is not okay. Although, in some way, what do you expect? I mean, Chinese men. Come on. Chinese and Indian men. Yee. Let's be real. This is a culture that has made the up-the-skirt video shoots on public transportation a very mainstream thing now. We've all heard about it. So, you give them a little excavator and a lady in a skirt on a beach. What do you think is going to happen? The article goes on to say this bizarre form of entertainment has sparked some criticism on mainland social media for its potential to exploit women. Yeah, you think? Here's a quote from one observer. These young female live streamers are absolutely being exploited. It's softcore harassment. These accounts should be banned immediately. Another person said, well, the frightening thing is that the women are allowing the men to control the toy cars and to touch them. They have become numb, completely numb to being exploited. Now, the women are getting some money out of it, it seems. There's reports of gift-giving interactions going on. This happens when a female host does certain things that the viewers have requested. For instance, a female host might do a 10-second split on the sand if a viewer sends a virtual rocket gift worth 1,000 won, which is about 140 USD. Although we might want to check on that. After this week, it might be a 200 USD after what's been going on in Japan. All right, it sounds like these ladies know what they're getting up to by being a live stream host in an in a niche that's probably dominated by creepy men watching, and they're making some money at doing it and doing some what I would call suggestive things, it would seem. So you can't really be surprised at that point that an electronic robot excavator is clicking at your toes and trying to lift up your clothes. I'm not trying to rhyme here. It just happened that way. Let me just draw a line in the sand here. No pun intended. Draw a line in the sand with my excavator. The girls are on this site. They know the deal. They're hoping to make some cash, some extra cash, through consensual agreements to do certain things. And so, therefore, it should be consensual. Don't just ride your tractor over and rip off her blouse. Ask about a gift exchange for such things. Be respectful. This whole thing is a circus, of course, at the end of the day. But, hey, people are doing things. There's an exchange going on here. I assume the women are on there voluntarily. So don't be a creep, man, is what I'm saying. It's a bitch, girl, but you're not too far, 'cause you know it don't matter anyway. You can lift my skirt with an excavator if I say yes. Don't you know? Don't you know? Hi, my friends and loyal listeners. Thank you so much for being you. Appreciate it. Everybody's been so nice. Christy Cowley became a member of the Patreon, so we want to give Christy Cowley a shout out. Christy's been a long time weirdo, big fan of the show. We've had many an interaction over email over the years, so she's a real swell individual. So I just want to make sure she gets the love that she deserves on Weird AF News. We appreciate her, and please enjoy the extra content in the Patreon. Christy, she already is. She made a comment on the Tevin Campbell post that I made a few days ago. There's Tevin Campbell posts in the Patreon? Yes, there is. I'm glad you asked. There's Tevin Campbell posts in the Patreon. So half of you were like, who the hell is Tevin Campbell? Well, you'll have to join the Patreon to find out who Tevin Campbell is and what he means to me. Anyways, Christy, feel free to join the Weird AF News Fantasy Football League as well. You know, I've gotten some responses on the Fantasy Football League question that I put in the Patreon, which seems like we have some interest. We got 7 or 8 people thus far, so we only need a few more. We could put together a 12-team league. If you want to be in a fantasy football league, a Weird AF News Fantasy Football League with old Jonesy as the commissioner, then join the Patreon. I'll figure something out for as far as prizes go. But I think that would be a lot of fun anyways. I just love fantasy football. I'm in several leagues, and maybe I'll make it up so like if you can beat me, I'll give you something. Anyone who beats me, because I don't think I'll be beat in that league. I'm too good. And I don't know if my listeners are better than I am at fantasy football. But hey, I'm putting it out there, guys. That's the challenge. I threw down the proverbial gauntlet, as they say. Join the Patreon by going to weirdafnews.com and click on the Patreon banner, or go to patreon.com/weirdafnews, or download the Patreon app on your phone, create an account, do a search for Weird AF News, and now you're in. I want to read a review from my buddy Roman, a nice Texas boy, whom I'm probably going to be seeing in a couple of months when I'm doing Dallas in October. So Roman gave me a nice 5-star review on Amazon. And let me read it to you because it's quite lovely. I have spent years listening to this man talk in a closet. The guy is so dedicated to trying to bring us all a little bit of happiness by making us laugh that almost nothing will prevent him from giving us our daily dose of Jonesy. Being a comedian is tough mentally, physically, and emotionally, yet he's there for us every single day. Jonesy is also a comedian, and I have had the absolute pleasure and privilege of attending multiple shows. These shows will definitely be among the highlights of my life. But people sometimes forget that he's also human. Sometimes we as humans have bad days, and since we're human, we don't always like what other people like. Our independence is a beautiful part of being human, so it's okay that maybe you don't find something funny someone else might. It's impossible to please everyone, and it's even harder if someone is negative or close-minded, but I think Jonesy does a pretty darn good job overall. We weirdos love you, Jonesy, and we thank you with everything we've got for your commitment and perseverance, because you do, in fact, make our lives just a little bit better. And that's the kind of review that almost brings a tear to my eye. I have to say, it was very, very touching. So I just want to thank Roman again. Roman recently joined the Patreon as well. So Roman's a big supporter of the show is what I'm saying. And I really appreciate that. If you guys can't afford to join a Patreon or anything like that, and because I know it's tough, the economy isn't so beefy right now, so you can leave me a review. It's very, very helpful. Or tell a friend. That's also extremely helpful. We spread the news about Weird AF News. We spread the Weird AF News. Word of mouth is most effective, I find. And I know that because I've tried to spread it via social media, and it's an uphill battle there. I don't know if you've seen my Weird AF News Instagram account, but it doesn't have very many followers. It's just a tough racket in the social media. So it's best to word of mouth is the best way. People trust you. They want to know what you're listening, and they'll check it out if you suggest it to them. So please suggest Weird AF News to somebody that you love, or an enemy is okay as well. Maybe a cellmate. A cellmate's fine. Or maybe someone driving by in a Prius, you want to let them know about Weird AF News. I think Prius drivers would enjoy my show. Okay, that's enough of me spouting during this outro. Thank you for being present, and we'll see you tomorrow.